All right, welcome everyone. I apologize for not being here today, but I do have a child that has to visit the doctor's office, so that kind of fell upon my responsibility to take care of. What I want you to do is we want to get yourself to your entrance slips. All right, so we're going to jump right into it there. You had notes from last night, but this is where I want to spend my time talking to you about there. So let's get yourself to entrance slip number 19, day number 1. All right. So here's what we're after on it. One of the highlights from the video was that we're trying to compare things. So to compare things, we always find what the rate is. Ooh, hold on. When we're finding the rate, what we're really finding out is how much for one. All right. If we can, in general, this is what we always do when we compare things. If we can figure out how much for one, we can go ahead and make that particular comparison. So what I'm looking at here is I'm going to start with my table. All right, how much for one? Well, one of the things that we've always seen is, hours. Hours is time, so time always goes on the, yes, it's going to go on the bottom. And I also, oh my goodness, I got money as well, and money always goes on the top. So those are things that we're still carrying along with us. So it doesn't matter which one I grab, just as long as I grab one of them. I'm just going to grab the first one. All right. So the money, $22.50. All right, for the 3 hours. So when we go ahead, all right, and if I figure out how much it is for one, well, that's why it's the division problem. So again, if you can jump right to division, we don't have to set up this ratio, but it shows you why we are dividing. If I divide it by 3, go ahead, ladies and gentlemen, punch that on into your calculator. Okay, hit the pause button if you need to get your calculator out. All right, so punch that in, $22.50 divided by 3, and we get, what is that? What is that? How much money is that? Yeah, $7 and, yes, 50 cents for the 1 hour. All right, so we've got the rate here for Ben. Now, what we have to do is we have to end up going to our graph now. And if you look at your graph, you really don't have anything that's on there. So I'm going to show you things that we should watch for. And typically, we're always going to give you the graph that's on here, but this is how I can walk you through it. So for Sarah here, remember, if we had it labeled, all right, hours, all right, hours always goes on the, yes, it's on the x-axis. Your time always goes down there. So we'd have hours that are down here, and then that means that on your y-axis, we would definitely need our money to go along with it, all right? So I'm going to give you some information here, all right? I'm going to let you know that this is a 2, all right, I'm going to skip and make a 4, skip, make a 6, skip, make an 8, skip, make a 10. So really, what am I counting by? I'm counting by ones when it comes down to it there. So 1, 2, 3. Again, we're just not filling them all in. The other thing that we want to do then is I'm going to have you count by 20s that are here. All right. So we're going to put a 20 there. We're going to skip. All right. Make a 40. Skip. Make a 60. Skip. Make an 80. All right. And we're going to plot some points. We're going to do the ordered pair. I'm going to go 2 and then 20. So we're going to put one right there. We're going to go 4 and we're going to go 40. Sorry. Kind of disappeared on me there. We're going to go 6, and then we're going to go 60. I'm going to go 8, and then I'm going to go 80 with it. So there's my line. So the idea is if they gave you this, what would you do with it? Well, what you saw from the notes last night is all you have to do is grab an ordered pair. That's it. Just grab one. So this guy, all right, where this point is at, we always go on the x-axis first, and then we go up the y-axis. So that's the ordered pair 2, 20. Again, I could grab any of them. I just need to grab one that has the dot that's on it. So when I grab that, what we saw is it's always the y-axis divided by the x-axis. Always, 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 always. Always, 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 always. Now, the other thing to keep in mind is, oh my goodness, look who's on the y-axis. Oh, it's the money. And money does go on top. So that's where things are coming from. So, yeah, that's the y-coordinate. Remember, x-coordinate followed by your y-coordinates. So that's where my 20 ends up coming from. What's my x-coordinate? Well, it's a 2. And again, it was the time. It was 2 hours. So there we go. Now we're going to figure out how much it is for 1. So we can just divide. 20 divided by 2 gives me my $10. All right, so it's my $10 for my 1 hour that we are looking at. So the question, if we go back to the top, is look who's making more money. Well, in this particular case, we would say Sarah is, because she's making more money in the 1 hour. She's making $10 for that 1 hour, whereas our good friend Ben here is only making $7.50 for that 1 hour. Okay, so things that we've got to make sure that we're doing here is we're just not grabbing, yay, 3 on top of the $22.50. Whee, the 3. No. Your labeling is important. That's here. All right, your labeling is something we definitely got to make sure. So I see we always put money on top of time. So again, when I set it up, I have to put the $22.50 over the 3. Watch the setup there. When we're doing the graphs, it's always the y coordinate on top of the x coordinate. So always write out an order there. And again, it's always going to be the y on top of the x. Then we can simplify it and figure out what we're dealing with. Remember, it's a division problem. I want to know how much it is for 1. All right? Okay, so let's get yourself over to your classwork here. All right? What I'm going to do here is I'm just going to open up a blank document and write on it there. But you guys want to get yourself over to your classwork, and I want to point out a few things on question 1. So if you need to pause here, go and pause. Did you pause? All right, welcome back. All right, so we're going to look at question number 1 here. All right, and what I'm looking at first of all is I'm looking at the table. All right, I'm looking at that particular table that we've got. What I'm interested in is the numbers that are in there. Now, I see I've got a 4, a 72. All right, I've got an 8, I got 144, a 12, and a 260. Now, the big thing is the labeling. Gallons, all right, and then we've got miles that are off to the side. Now, here's the thing. Do I have money? No. All right, do I have time? No. All right, so in that case, when they don't give it to you, we've got to find the information somewhere. And I'm going to go back up to the original question. All right, if you look in the second line, we're going to see the phrase miles per gallon. All right, so when I go into the question, it's going to tell me what to do. So if I don't have time, I don't have money, I got to dig into the question and find that rate. And oh my gosh, it says miles per gallon, which means it's going to look like miles per gallon. In other words, who's going to be on the top? Miles, yes. Who's going to be the bottom? Yes, your gallons. So this is going to help me organize it there. So in this case, I'm just going to grab one from the chart. I'll grab the smallest one here. Miles, 72 miles. So again, it's not always bigger number on top. It's not always the how they give it to me. You have to read and interpret here. How many gallons? 4. All right. So here we're going to do a division problem. So if you do your 72 divided by 4, you get 18. So this is 18 miles, all right, per gallon. And again, I could write it out as 18 miles over the 1 gallon. That's fine there. All right, those ideas work. So I know now that vehicle 1 is getting 18 miles per gallon. Okay, when I go over to my graph, all right, I've got to find an ordered pair. So find one of those dots. All right, I'm going to find one for it there. So I'm going to look for the dots, and oh my goodness, I'm going to grab that first one. Do you see how it matches up with the 3? All right. Do you see how it also matches up with the 50? Yes. Again, we just got to grab one of those points. So let's write down one of the ordered pairs. I'm going to write down this one. So I always write down the x-axis first, followed by the y-axis. All right. So, so there we go. So when I write it out, yes, it's the ordered pair 350, which means the x-coordinate is first, the y-coordinate second. But when we want to find out the rate, how do we set it up? Yes, we need to do the y over the x. So how much is your y-coordinate? It is 50. All right. How much is your x-coordinate? It is 3. And again, I can match it up there as well. Again, miles, it was up there. So there's lots of ways we can verify it. The main thing is when I divide now, okay, I'm not going to get a clean number. I'm going to get a 16.6, and that 6 is going to be repeating. That's what we call a repeating bar. Really, I don't care, though, because who's getting more miles per gallon? Yeah, the 18 is definitely bigger than the 16.6 repeating that we've got going on here. So my answer here is vehicle number 1. That's what we want out of you there. All right. So again, the big thing is your setup that you end up seeing that you're dealing with. Let's look down at part B. All right. Let's kind of walk you through this one as well. Let's see what we got going on here. We've got, we're comparing the cars. Victor saw an advertisement for a third vehicle, the Lunar. The manager said the Lunar can travel about 289 miles on a tank of gas. If the gas tank can hold 17 gallons of gas, is the lunar Victor's best option. Okay, so again, we want to figure out the miles per gallon. All right, and we know that we went how many miles? Well, we went 289 miles, and then on how many gallons? The 17. So this is the idea that, okay, if we divide, in other words, figure out that rate that we're looking for, we can make the comparison. If we grab our calculator and we punch that in, I'll do this for you. 289 divided by 17 is 17. So this means we're getting 17 miles in the 1 gallon. All right, so is that better than before? Okay, so this is where we got to go into the question. All right, it says, is the lunar Victor's best option? No. All right, why or why not? All right, and this is where you got to get into it. I'm going to let you write this part out there. All right, this is where we've got to get into it's less miles per gallon. This is where we get ideas. Is he the one that gets more miles per gallon? So we do definitely need to kind of have a discussion regarding that. Okay, so I'm going to set you free onto the backside now. All right, there's question 2 that's back there. There's a question 3 that's back there. There's not a lot of work to go with these guys, ladies and gentlemen. I know I kind of wrote out a lot here with it just because I didn't have my questions here. But if you realize it is, oh my gosh, we did a division problem. Wait. Oh my goodness, I did another division problem. The main thing that we're after is, are you pulling the right numbers that are there? All right, so finish those 2. When you finish those 2, pop right up, grab yourself your answer sheet, check them, make your adjustments, and then you're all set to go. Keep in mind that you might have classwork from yesterday to finish up. We definitely want you to take care of that. And then the other option is you can definitely make use of cubes today as well. Just ask. It's always polite to ask. All right, people, we'll see ya.